So welcome everybody. Thank you for those of you who have joined this class the last 2 weeks. I think this is now the 3rd time I've offered virtual yoga. And for those that are joining for the first time, thanks for giving it a try. We're all just giving it a try. So this is all about figuring out how to make this work for you in your own environment. And so the first thing to do is I encourage you to grab any blankets or straps or cushions to sit on or props that you can possibly use to make you as comfortable as possible during this yoga practice. I always like to say that though I am offering you a few things that might guide you in your yoga practice, it's your practice. And so always, always do what you like, leave what you don't like, change the things that that you can make work better for you. Always make this your own practice. And I'll do my best to give a few alternatives as we go through. So let's start as we usually do, the little bit of rocking back and forth. Seeing if you can find your sitting bones underneath you. Feel the connection of your sitting bones to the floor. And then from your sitting bones, we're just going to pay attention to posture. So your sit bones are grounding you. You've got your core on top of that, and maybe your dog on top of you. Core, followed by ribs, shoulders, neck, and head. So just take a moment to pay attention to your own posture. Then make sure the spine has engaged a little bit with low shoulders and easy neck and head. And take one of your thumbs into the other hand and inhale as you raise your arms up. And exhale with shoulders low. Breathe in through your nose and out fully through the mouth. And warm your fingers up. 2 breaths here, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Arms up and then down either behind your head or in front of your neck, whatever feels better for your arms. Full extension as you breathe in. And slow hands to the heart as you breathe out. And a breath at the heart. Excellent. So because the class is 1 hour long today, and that's shorter than I normally teach a class, I've been playing with, we'll do some poses sometimes and other poses other times, so that over the course of a couple of weeks, hopefully we touch on most parts of the body and many of the poses that you know and love. Today, it's not typical for us to start lying down, but today I'm going to invite you, if you're willing, to start lying down. So we're lying on our backs, moving your stuff out of the way. And take a moment, just like we did with our sit bones, take a moment to just feel your back on the floor. Feel the parts of you that are in contact with the ground. And take a moment to take stock of the body. So as you lay here, in the chat box I asked you how you were doing, but now that you're lying down and becoming a little bit more present, How are you doing? Just take a moment to reflect. How's the body? Are there any parts of you that you're a little more aware of today? How's the mind? What kind of a day has it been for your mind? And how are you feeling? How's your emotional self today? Or just even at this moment? Maybe you've had a lot of different emotions already today. It's kind of the time we're in. So just take a moment just now. How are you feeling? And then take a couple of big breaths, any way that you like. Allowing yourself to just settle in. Acknowledge that you've made this little bit of time for yourself. Here you are. You managed to remember that it was on and find the link and work your technology. Give yourself a bit of credit. A little time for you just now. Good. So we're going to start with some poses for the back. I do these quite frequently, almost every morning, because my back is an area that's needed a little more attention over the years. We'll start by crossing the ankle over the thigh, and then using your fingers to reach around your hamstring. If possible, your fingers are going to interlace behind the hamstring so that you can pull the legs a little closer towards you. Maybe your elbow is able to push the knee away from you at the same time. And take a couple of breaths here. 3 big ones in total. Good, and we'll change sides. Got the knees up. The knees and the heels are hip-width apart. From there, the other ankle now crosses over the thigh. Use the fingers to interlace around the hamstring, or just grab your pants and pull if that works better for you. And breathe. You're breathing out fully each time. Excellent. Now, bring both knees in towards your chest and extend your arms long from shoulders on out along the floor. And here we're going to just drop both knees to the same side. Over they go with a thud. Sometimes the thud allows a little bit of self-chiropractics. Get a little adjustment there through your back. And now 3 good breaths. Big breaths in and fully all the way out on the breath out. Bring those knees back into your chest and then off to the other side. Again with a thud if possible. And 3 big breaths. Good. Bring those knees back in. And now place the feet down on the mat. Now my socks are a little slippery, so I'm going to take them off to get more grip. You're trying to get your heels hip width apart, your knees hip width apart, and you want to feel all your toes connecting with the floor, especially your big toe. So see if you can really grip the big toe in today, and see if you can maintain the knees hip width distance as you contract your core, like you're squeezing your bladder higher up inside you, and then lift your tailbone. And then keep on going, one vertebra at a time. You're slowly lifting yourself up into a bridge pose. And then once you're balanced up on your upper back and neck, you can slowly go back down. So over time, once you get down, just do it again. We're going to repeat this. Over time, you may get to the point where you really can articulate each and every vertebra. So this is what you're aiming for. Can you feel one, and then the next, and then the next? So you're going that slowly with that much awareness. One of the ways to do that on your way down is to keep your hips up high as long as you can. So the hips stay where they are as you start to drop through the chest, through those upper back vertebrae, and then the next one, and the next, and eventually, of course, the hips have to come along. Keep breathing. We're going to do this one more time. Use the core first, and then up into bridge pose. And this time, we're going to do a variation while we're here. So you've got two hips. We're going to drop one of those hips about 1 inch down. So it's just a little bit of a drop. And then you're going to use your back muscles to squeeze that hip back up to place. Then lower the opposite hip about 1 inch. Little drop. Use the back muscles to squeeze it back up. And go back and forth that way. It'll probably be both your back muscles and your glute muscles that get a little action here. Always breathing any way that you like. Good, that's plenty. Let's one vertebra at a time, bring it on down. And then you decide how to make the body feel good from here. So some of you like to bring the knees in and rock. Others of you might prefer to just stretch the body all the way out. And still others of you might prefer to go windshield wipers with the legs, just with heels hip width apart. Just go back and forth with the knees. Good. Also, let's take one leg and interlace your fingers around the hamstring of that leg and start to press. You're pressing your heel towards the sky at the same time as your arms are starting to pull your leg a little closer to you. So the arms are pulling the leg in as your heel is pressing the leg up. It's like two opposing forces at the same time. And let's breathe here. And as you hold here, maybe you want to try pointing the toes and then flexing the foot. Pointing and flexing back and forth. So you start to notice some of those muscles through the ankle and through the foot. Good. Let's bring that leg down and take the other leg up. Excellent. Again, we're pressing the heel skyward as you pull the leg in. And breathing, of course. And now try a little pointing and flexing. Those of you who have pets might be multitasking, pets or children. Good, bring that in, excellent. Turn yourself over to lie on your stomach now. The first thing to do is just be here. So as you lie on the stomach, is there a way for you to get comfortable? Rock your hips out. Give over your weight to gravity. Just let go of it as you lay here for a moment. Take a breath. Good. We're going to do a couple of things lying on our stomachs today. For those who have taken my class, you'll know this one well because we've done this one lots. I invite you, if you wish, to place your hands right underneath your shoulders. So the hands are snugged up really close beside your chest. And now it sort of gives you like little wings, right? Your elbows are out. The goal with this one is the elbows are off the floor for sure, but we're trying to keep the elbows close to the body. So while you're hugging those elbows in, now rest your head on your chin. And notice that your back and your hips are totally soft. There's no core involved in this one. There's no effort through the back or the hips at all, but there is effort in the hands and the arms. So now use just the hands to push your chin and chest off the ground. You're not going up very high, it's just a little movement. Slowly up and slowly down. And I invite you to try 6 times. Slowly up, slowly down. All while you're breathing. When you're about halfway through, you might start to notice or pay attention to the low back. We're trying to make more space between each and every vertebra. So lengthening through the low back, being spacious there. And breathing. After you've done your 6, you're going to touch your chin down, touch your forehead down, rest your arms, and rest on each cheek for a breath. Good. Now we are going to use the core on this next pose. The arms are going to stay down by our sides, and your palms are going to face your thighs. You are going to contract your core. So we're squeezing the low abdominals, squeezing the low back, and then starting to lift your chin and chest, keeping the squeeze through your core. Also, send your fingers down. Fingers are reaching. And if it feels okay for you, you might lift the legs up. So that keeps you balanced up on your belly. And breathe. Couple of breaths, keep reaching the fingers. Now, if this doesn't feel right for you or for your back, just come on down. Skip it or go back to the one that we just did. Now, see if you can lower yourself slowly. And then touch your chin, touch your forehead, put your hands back onto the mat so that you can push up onto hands and knees and back down into pose of child. For this first one today, we're going to leave the arms extended above the head. Really reach the fingers as far away from you as you can. Let your head rest down if possible. Get some length there from your fingertips all the way through your shoulders. And breathe. Then walk your hands over to the left side. So you get a little side stretch here for 2 breaths. And walk those hands over to the right side. Side stretch. And walk to center and round yourself back up. Good. So if you are comfortable sitting on your knees, stay on your knees. If this doesn't work for your knees or your body, a couple of options. One, you can take a big cushion and put it between your heels and your bum and see if that helps. Or another option is just to find a different way to sit. Sit cross-legged or sit with your legs out. Sit any way that works better for you. So once you've chosen your sitting position, we're going to take it into an eagle pose here. We're bringing one arm across the body, taking the other arm and wrapping way underneath the tricep. If possible, your fingers and palms are clapping each other. Then we're going to pull the elbows away from your chest and take a breath. Then lift the elbows up to shoulder height, but keep the shoulders low down. And breathe. And bring those elbows back for one more breath. Good. Let go of the arms, a couple of shoulder rolls there. And let's do the other side. So the other arm across the body. Other arm wraps around. Oh, I gotta remember which side I did. So you. Elbows pull away from your chest and take a breath. Lift the elbows to shoulder height. Keep the neck easy and breathe. Good, elbows back down for one final breath here. Excellent, let that go. Great. So now come to sitting with your legs fully stretched in front of you. Give them a little shake. So we haven't done a lot with the legs just yet. We'll do one more set for our hips. We're going to cross one leg all the way over the other leg. That leaves your knee up high. I invite you to give a big hug to that knee. And then do a little rocking back and forth to see if both your sitting bones have stayed connected to the floor. Drop your shoulders down and take a nice long breath. Now, some of you who have flexible, extra flexible legs will be able to take the extended leg and bend it. If you try that and it doesn't work, just leave it out. Both are fine. So whichever way works for your legs, keep that. Then take the same hand as your knee that's up. So I've got my right knee up, so I'm taking my right hand up. And first I'm reaching to get lots of length here through the side, through the ribs. Then I'm placing the hand on the inside of my foot. So for me, it was my right hand, so it's on the right foot. That leaves me with a free other hand. that's going to plant behind my hip so that I can breathe in and lengthen my spine up nice and tall. And breathe out and start to twist, just gently starting to look at that backhand. Breathe in and lengthen the spine tall. Breathe out, starting to twist gently to look behind you. One more time, breath in and lengthen. Breath out and twist. And then we'll counter twist the opposite way just for a moment. Just a short one, and then shake out those legs. Good, and cross the other one over. And give it a big hug. Again, rock back and forth. Make sure that your sit bones have stayed connected to the floor. And let's take a big breath in and out. And on this side, you can test the flexibility. The long leg has the option of bending and coming in or not. You find what works for you. And like last time, let's take the same hand as the knee that's up and lengthen it. Breathing in. And place it on the inside of your foot. So I'm on my left side now, so I've got my left hand connected to my left foot. Take your free hand and plant it behind your hip. Breathe in as you get tall through your spine. Breathe out as you gently twist, gazing behind you. Just a small movement. Breathe in and get even taller through your spine. And breathe out, gently twist. And one more, breathe in and lengthen. Breathe out and twist. And short counter twist here. Good. And shake out those legs. Excellent. Come to hands and knees. Now, if your wrists give you any trouble, you'll remember that you've got a couple of options. You can be down on your forearms anytime for any of these poses, or you can try making a fist shape and being in fists on the mat, which keeps your wrist in a nice supported straight position, which might be better for you. So now let's work with the spine again, a little bit of rounding through the spine, chin dropping towards the chest. And arching. And just follow your own body today. So as much rounding as feels right for you. And then whatever arching feels right for you. And let's see if we can go back and forth with the pace of your breathing. So breathe in as you go one way. Breathe out as you go the other. Now sometimes it feels really good in the low back to come to neutral and bring your hips halfway back to your heels and off to one side. And look for the sweet spot in your low back or maybe in your hips that just feels good. And breathe there. And then over to the other side. Just explore with your own body till you find whatever feels right. Good, then return to neutral. We have the option now of going into a downward dog. So those of you who know you love down dogs can curl your toes and go on it. I'll give you an alternate for those who don't want to do a downward dog. You're going to slowly extend one leg, pressing your heel away from you and breathing. Then contract your core to slowly bring that leg back in. Keep the core activated as you slowly extend the other leg out, pressing the heel away from you. Or you're in downward dog. Either one is fine. Contract the core as you drag that back in. And let's do it one more time on each side. Those of you who are in downward dog, if you know any of the downward dog variations, like lifting a leg, for example, or bicycling the legs, you're welcome to do those. And one more time on the other side. And let's all get to enjoy child's pose. So if you're in down dog, you're bringing your knees down. You can choose child's pose with arms above the head, or hands by your feet, or head resting on hands, whatever you like. Let's try 3 mindful breaths. And then round yourself back up to sitting. And let's transition to standing. I'm going to do that by curling my toes and standing from that squat position. Excellent. Give the legs a good shake here. Good. Allowing your blood to return to normal. We'll work for a moment with the neck. So once you've got those shoulders dropped way down on your body, and you're working on getting nice and tall, so the crown of your head is the highest point. Your chin is tucked in a little. Let's take a big breath here in mountain pose. Knees are just gentle. One ear up to the sky. And just allow the neck to hang there for 2 big breaths. And when you're ready, over to the other side. 2 big breaths again. Feeling all 10 of your toes, grounding you to the floor. Come to center, and this time we'll take it into a neck roll. So go to the side you started with, ear lift. And then as slowly as you can possibly go, start a neck roll around the front. Now you're looking for every spot that feels tight. And every time you find it, you're going to hold there and breathe extra. It's the slowest neck roll you have ever done. Pause anytime. Whenever you find a sore knot, pause and breathe. And some of you like the sensation of rolling the head around the back. I don't, so I'm just going to change directions. So it's your choice. You can keep rolling in the full circle or simply change direction. So maybe you're close to being back to center now. If you're already back at center, you can give yourself a gentle face massage. Find any spots holding tension, including your jaw. See if you can let them go. Good. All right. I'm going to lead you in a balance pose and followed by chair pose. So for both of these, you need to figure out what's going to work for you. So if you know that balance is a little bit tough for you, move yourself so that you're close to a wall or close to a piece of furniture or something that you can grab so that you're not going to actually fall over, unless you're my niece and nephew and then you maybe want to fall over. So now you need an eye focus. Anyone who's balancing, best to have something about 5 feet away from you and something you can really lock your eyes on that's not going to move. We did this one on Sundays. It's the Lord of the Dance pose, and I'll offer all 4 variations today, but you only do the ones that work for you. So ground one of your feet. Feel 5 toes, really connecting you to the floor, and let out your air. Take a big breath in as you lift your other leg. And see if you can hold here for 3 breaths. If it works for you, you're now going to grab onto your ankle and bend both your knees with your knees together for 3 breaths. We're straightening the support leg and adding the free arm so that it's reaching you tall. At the same time, I'm just going to show you by turning, at the same time as your foot is really pulling you down. So you've got 2 opposing forces as you breathe. The 4th pose is optional. You don't have to do it. You're going to reach for what you're looking at and start to lift the back knee, keeping both your hip bones shining on the same plane. So they're shining straight ahead or they're both shining equally towards the floor, but one hip bone is not higher than the other. Good, bring that back up and shake it out. Just rest there. Good. Sip of water in between sides. Great, let's do the other side. So now, you're grounding your other foot, finding your eye focus, letting out your air. Take a breath in as you lift the leg, and we're holding 3 breaths here. And you also have the option of interlacing your fingers around that hamstring to help hold the leg. Second variation is grabbing onto the foot, ankle, or pants, bending both your knees and bringing the knees together. And 3 breaths. Straightening the support leg, pulling the heel away from the bum, and adding the free arm so that the hand reaches you up as the foot pulls you down, and breathe. I don't know if you can hear my squeaky floor in the camera and microphone, but it's very squeaky. Reach for what you're looking at, and it's optional here to start to lift the back knee. Keep both hip bones equally forward. Excellent, bring that back up. Give that a good shake. Well done. Balance is tricky. So we're gonna follow that with chair pose. Chair pose is excellent as a strengthener for the knees because it helps all of the muscles that support the knees. If you know that your knees give you a bit of grief, then you might want to be extra gentle through this. I'll also be offering a twist variation in the chair pose. And so I ask for your honesty about your low back. If you know that your low back is healthy, then go ahead, try the twist. If you know that your low back's not so happy these days, then just go with the straight chair, no twisting. So making sure the heels are hip width apart, knees are bent. We're gonna breathe in and lift the arms up. Leave the shoulders low, and as you breathe out, start to bend your knees, but keep them hip width apart. And we're just gonna hold here. One variation, if you find this tough, is to find a wall behind you and just have a little bit of something to brace you. Good, bring your hands to your heart and take one more breath. And then come on back to standing. Good, so if you know that your low back gives you trouble, you're gonna do that one again, just as it is. For those of you who are ready for a little bit more challenge, I'll give you the twist variation. So once again, feet are grounded, letting out our air. Breathe in and lift your arms up. Breathe out, sitting into a pretend chair, keeping the knees hip width apart. Bring your hands towards your heart. And if it works for your knees, see if you can sit a little bit more deeply. Now, if you're protecting your low back, you're gonna stay here or just come out of the pose early. If you're challenging yourself today, you're gonna do a little twist, and maybe the elbow might land on the outside of the knee. And breathe. Come on back to center. And let's see if we can do the other side. Remembering though that if you've had enough, you can end sooner. Should be building a little bit of heat here now. Come back to center first, and then stand. Good, shake that out. Good, congratulations on that one. Beautiful. Again, for the sake of our hips, we're going to do just an easy balance that gets into the hips by crossing one leg over the other leg. I'm going to take so for me, I've got my right leg crossed over my left. So I'm going to take my right hand and tuck it into an imaginary back pocket and drop both my shoulders down. And breathe here. Keeping my eyes focused at eye level, I'm now just going to do a little bit of a tip towards the left. So both my feet are still on the floor, but it's a challenge to balance because we've crossed one foot over the other. And breathe here. Some people really feel this as a great stretch in the hips. Other people feel nothing when they do this one. So either of those could be you. Come on back up. Let it go. I'm now crossing my left over my right. Taking my left hand into the imaginary back pocket. So way across the opposite pocket. Breathing as I gaze at my eye focus. And then tipping towards the right for 3 breaths. Good, come on back up. Excellent, shake those legs out. So tonight we're going to do just the very beginning part of the sun salutation, the first couple of movements that go with it. First, we stand in mountain pose, which we've already been working on. Our feet are hip width apart, our knees are slightly bent. You can feel all 10 of your toes grounding you. You're standing really tall, with the crown of you is the highest point, chin tucked in. Take a breath here. Bring your hands to your heart and feel a little bit of connection there, a little bit of energy between all your fingers, between your palms, and take one more breath. Now contract your core. As you're standing here, imagine you're pulling your bladder up higher in your body, so nice squeeze of your Kegel. As you breathe in, keep your core strong, reach up above you, and if you know your back's okay, it's just a very gentle back bend, a little bit of reaching behind. Then bend your knees quite a lot as you go from here all the way down into a forward fold. And just dangle here for a couple of breaths. Your knees are bent. You're just seeing how it feels to hang here. Sometimes we like to try straightening just one leg so you can see how that feels. Then bend both your knees and try straightening the other leg. I'm just going to turn so that you might be able to see me a little bit. This next part of sun salutation is to come part way up your legs. So to place your hands on your shins. And then imagine your back getting really straight and long. So from your tailbone, you're trying to make that table, long back, flat back, and gaze your eyes forward. Now again, only if that works for you. If that's too much of a strain in your back or anywhere else, just bend those knees and do something else. If you're okay here, we're holding for one more breath.
And then forward fold again, just dangle again for a breath. And contract your core as you ragdoll your way back up to standing. Good. If you were okay with the back bend before, the movement is to go from that ragdoll into the back bend. So squeeze your core again and imagine that you're keeping going from being hanging down to being back bended. And then come to center, bring your hands to your heart. So we're going to do that sequence again 2 more times. Feet are grounding you. Take a full breath in and out with hands at heart. Contract your core. Breathe in. Gentle back bend if that works for you. And bend your knees more than you think you should as you forward fold. Hang here for a full breath in and out. Neck is loose. Then bring your hands halfway up your shins as you start to straighten out your back, trying to become a little bit longer, a little bit flatter through the back, gazing your eyes forward, breathing in. And then forward folding again, rounding, dangling, breathing. Then contract your core as you ragdoll your way up. And keep that core contracted as you keep on going into back bend. And bring your hands together at your heart. I'm going to do that sequence one final time. Breathe at the heart. Contract your core. Breathe into a back bend. Bend your knees. Forward fold. Breathing out. Dangle here for a whole breath. In and out. Bring your hands halfway up your shins as you start to lengthen your spine. And forward fold again. Contract your core as you ragdoll up. Keep the core contracted into your gentle back bend. And to center, bringing your hands to your heart and do a full breath. Beautiful. We're arriving at Shavasana. So I'm going to do it seated. If you'd like to lie down fully outstretched, the choice is yours. Lying or seated or any other comfortable position you'd like to be in for Shavasana. Now I'm going to talk you through a relaxation that lasts about 5 minutes. If you are really feeling like Shavasana is the right thing for you tonight and you want longer, then I just encourage you to turn off now and stay in Shavasana as long as you like. So the first thing is to get the body as comfortable as it can be. Be warm enough to lay still, so you might want to grab a blanket. Feel the parts of your body now that are in contact with the ground. And as we did earlier, just take a moment to notice. How is your body feeling now? Breathe any way that feels right to you. And I invite you to imagine the back of your head. If you're lying down, it might be the point on which you're resting. If you're seated, just imagine the back of your head and take a breath there. Then expand from that point. I invite your attention to become expansive so that you can notice your whole head at once. Breathe as you become aware of the head. And continue to breathe comfortably as you notice the eyes beginning to soften, the cheeks beginning to let go, the jaw releasing, the muscles around the mouth softening. Breathe again as you bring a little focus to your neck, both the front of the neck and the back of the neck. Continue breathing comfortably as you notice your shoulders. We tend to carry tension in our necks and our shoulders. Notice if there's any part of the shoulders that can be let go. Feel a loosening of all of the area around the heart and the lungs. Our chest is often where we protect ourselves, feel protective. Just notice if you feel like there's armor there today, or if you're able to release some of that armor and have more spaciousness for your heart and your lungs. Drop your attention now to the belly. And again, just notice, are you carrying any additional tension there? Or are you able to breathe expansively using the diaphragm and let go? Bring awareness to your back now. I invite you to explore, are there any parts of the back that are holding more tension than they need to? And can you let go? And same with the hips. And bringing attention down your legs. Noticing knees, lower legs, ankles, and feet. Take a couple of breaths now as you notice your entire body at once. As mentioned, if you're enjoying Shavasana tonight and you'd like to continue, please do. If you're ready to transition to the rest of your evening, I invite you to take 3 deeper breaths. You sigh them out if that feels okay. And start to move a little bit. Move your fingers, move your toes. Find an area that needs a bit of a stretch. If you're lying down, you can turn yourself onto your side and then push yourself up to sitting. If you're already sitting, you might try a few rolls with the back. So leaning forward, moving the body in a circle from the seated position. Again, only if that works for you and your back. Gently breathing as you rotate. And then pausing and changing directions. Ensuring the jaw has remained loose. So the neck is easy. And the neck isn't doing the rolling on this one. The movement is coming more from the hips and the waist. The head just stays perched on top of the spine. And then bring yourself back to center. Again, check in with your posture. And let's take your thumb into your hand. And inhale as you raise your arms. Exhale with shoulders low. Another breath. Hands together. Hands can go behind the neck or in front. Full extension as you breathe in. Slow hands to heart as you breathe out. And last breath at the heart. Namaste.